Then another one talking about they're going to sue us. Well, let me tell you something about lawsuits. If you sue us, which would be something that I would welcome, because then we get our attorney, and you as plaintiffs would have to come in and be deposed. And I'd like to depose all of those involved so they would have to tell us what they did, what they didn't do, under oath.
All of you that are spreading lies about the 4 boys or 5 boys, however many that y'all are choosing to decide, Nolan, I hope that you all get sued. I truly do. I hope that you lose every dollar that you could ever imagine having, because you have literally destroyed these young men's life.
Be careful saying that Nolan, they're going to sue you. They're suing everybody. Please sue me, because maybe then and only then you'll actually get to see the courtroom, because in my head, I already know how you did it.
We, the Black community, will not stop until we get answers about the NolanW's.
And this is them getting out ahead of it, and they're trying to scare people into silence in the process. But don't worry. Sue me. I'll still be speaking.
Hi guys, my name is Liam and you've welcome back to channel. Listen up, because what I'm about to break down right now is pure chaos. And the people who thought they could threaten their way out of this mess just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Nolan Xavier Wells, 18 years old, college football player, bright future. He got on a boat on July 4th with a group of so-called friends and headed out to Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. He never came back. 2 days later, they found his body on that island, and ever since that moment, the story coming from those friends has been full of holes, inconsistencies, and straight-up silence when it matters most. The family has been left with more questions than answers. The independent autopsy came back undetermined. There's a red discoloration on the back of his head that still needs explaining. And the people who were the last ones with him, suddenly they want everybody to stop talking. Now they're talking about lawsuits. They're threatening Nolan's mother. They're threatening Ben Crump. They're threatening Al Sharpton. They're threatening every influencer and every person in the Black community who dared to ask the simple question, what really happened to that boy? They thought they could scare people into silence. They thought they could wave a lawsuit around like a weapon and make everybody shut up. But here's the truth they didn't calculate. Those lawsuits they keep threatening, they just turned into their worst nightmare. Because when you file that paper, when you actually walk into that courtroom and put your name on a defamation claim, you don't get to control the narrative anymore. You don't get to hide behind social media posts and carefully worded statements. You get deposed under oath, every single one of them. And the questions that come with that deposition, they're not going to be soft. They're not going to be polite. They're going to dig into every text, every photo, every timeline, every inconsistency that has been floating around since July 4th. These people thought they were jumping on a moving train that was going to crush the family's demand for justice. What they actually did was strap themselves to the front of that train. And the Black community, Mama Nolan, Ben Crump's team, we are not getting off the track. We are not going silent. We are not going to be threatened into looking the other way. So, if y'all really want to sue, bring it. Because what comes next is going to be the biggest reality check this group has ever faced. Let's get into it.
Ours is unconditional. Then another one talking about they're going to sue us. Well, let me tell you something about lawsuits. If you sue us, which would be something that I would welcome, because then we get our attorney, and you as plaintiffs would have to come in and be deposed. And I'd like to depose all of those involved so they would have to tell us what they did, what they didn't do, under oath. Under oath. So bring it, you can drop it off right here, the paper's right here now, so we can get the deposing, since none of these young boys are saying nothing. You file a lawsuit, they gonna have to say something. And they gonna have to not only talk, I want to see their cell phone logs. I want to see all their social media. Let's open it up. Let's let it go.
As sad as I am for NolanW's parents and family, and I would not wish that on any person, all of you that are spreading lies about the 4 boys and or 5 boys, however many that y'all are choosing to decide killed Nolan, I hope that you all get sued. I truly do. I hope that you lose every dollar that you could ever imagine having, because you have literally destroyed these young men's life on just what you think happened. You know half the stuff isn't true. They've already proven that the audio was fake. They've proven that the pictures of supposedly Nolan on a boat was fake. They've proven that. But you still continue to push and push and push these lies to where these boys will never have a normal life. No matter where they go, no matter what they do, when you pull their names, it's going to come up with NolanW's. And it's going to be not that NolanW's was their best friend, not that they loved NolanW's, not that they spent high school years with him and hung out with him all the time. It's going to be they were accomplices to murder, or they were the ones that did it themselves, even though it's not true. So I truly...
One of their mom is a lawyer. Would you have said the same thing if the race was reversed? 3 black kids going home, leaving a white kid out, and he lost his life? Or would you have made this video? Would you have said the same thing? No, you wouldn't. I love that you said you're sorry what happened to Nolan, but proceeds to get mad at the parents for trying to find justice with their sons. And also, do you feel the same energy when innocent black people are in jail of the crimes they commit for centuries, 400 years? Do you feel the same energy? Do you make videos when black men are losing their lives in prison of the crimes they didn't commit? Do you have the same energy of black people being in jail for so long of the crimes they didn't commit the whole time? I don't see you making a video about that. Come on, bro. We know why, bro. Just like y'all think O.J. Simpson took out that white woman, right? Even though I think he did it, right? He had something to do with it, right? Now, we're going to this Nolan case, right? We feel like they did it, which y'all triggered when we say they did it to Nolan, which y'all wasn't triggered when other people said O.J. Simpson did it, even though I think he did. Make that shit make sense. We know why.
Y'all know who Mark Geragos is? If you don't know who Mark Geragos is, I suggest you Google him. Mark Geragos is a prominent trial lawyer. He's particularly known for criminal defense and high-profile civil litigation. He's tried numerous cases before a jury, and he's represented well-known clients over several decades. He's represented Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, Winona Ryder, Jussie Smollett, Scott Peterson. In addition to criminal defense, he's handled significant civil lawsuits. He's done wrongful deaths, business disputes, and personal injury. So now that you know who Mark Geragos is, I want you to understand what he's about to tell you. He sat down with Harvey Levin on their show, Two Angry Men, and Harvey Levin asked him, can Ben Crump basically be sued for doing his job? Spoiler alert, y'all about to be mad. Enjoy.
So, Mark, now some of NolanW's friends are getting angry that Ben Crump has insinuated, and I think this is a fair statement, insinuated that there might be foul play in Nolan's death and that maybe some of the friends were involved, and there's even this overlay of racism. And the father of one of the friends now says he's considering suing for defamation. This is a really interesting case because it's a very public case. Ben Crump represents the family, and they are trying to put pressure on authorities in Mississippi to do a thorough investigation. They have their suspicions about whether they will or not, and they are raising these issues. What do you think about the notion that if you put a cloud over somebody without directly saying they're responsible, that in itself could be defamation?
Well, it depends on where you are, and there's kind of robust law on this defamation by implication versus defamation.
But that's what we're talking about. So, I mean,
it's defamation.
What about that just as a principle?
I have watched some of these interviews, and not the least of which the governor has come out and made some rather harsh statements, calling Ben Crump a liar, and there's been other people who have said this. He's doing what you would want a lawyer to do. I know that when I read the comments, which you don't do, which I do religiously, there'll be a lot of people saying, well, you're just another lawyer. But understand something. If you're a mother and a father and you've lost your child, what you want are answers, and that's what you're looking for. I know that people don't like it, and I know that it's framed in such a way that it can polarize, but the fact remains that there are people who have lost a child, and they should be able to get the answers that they want. So I do take issue with some of the kind of pushback that they've been getting, and there are lines that are drawn, but I haven't seen anything so far that crosses a line into defamation by implication.
It's insane that y'all wanted Ben Crump to get sued for basically doing his job. And do you think that man is stupid enough to be doing these press conferences and to say something that will get him caught up? You even heard Mark Garrico said this man is doing what he's paid to do. He is being paid to get answers. And even Mark Garrico said he don't like the pushback that the family been getting. Yeah, pick up your jaw. So for those of you that wanted to see Ben Crump get sued so bad, yeah, you ever heard of rocks? Go kick him. Even Al Sharpton was like, yo, if y'all want to sue us, bring it. Like, I'm with it. Y'all really think these people have been doing this for decades and they don't know how to move? It's sad because y'all really thought these people are shaking in their boots because they said lawsuits. Lawsuits for what? For doing their jobs? For saying they have questions and they're trying to get answers? That's not defamation. Oh, wait. Who said that? Mark Garagos just said that. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about them coming out, throwing out the word lawsuit? Because now you look unserious because really, what are your grounds for this lawsuit? Do you think they try to use the word lawsuits as an intimidation tactic? Because that's what I'm getting. I feel like they use that to try to get people to back off. Like, share, drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm signing off. See you next post.
Okay. Another question? I can't hear you.
Okay, let me respond to that. That accusation doesn't deserve a response.
Right.
It has no dignity associated with someone standing up for children who have died. We don't waste our time arguing with donkeys. We don't waste our time arguing with people who want to distract from the real issue. We have 3 dead black young men under suspicious circumstances. And I don't think the New York Post ought to give elevation to distractions like that. This is such an old story. We fight for justice and someone suggests all we want is publicity. You know what happens when we stand here? Our inboxes are filled with hate messages, hate mail, hate this, hate that. No one. Our dignity in standing up. And I'm not, you're a reporter, you work for the paper, your editors told you to ask this question. I want you to know we will not be distracted. And I'm not going to, Ben Crump is like any lawyer. He should get paid for his work. Just like every Wall Street lawyer, every Trump lawyer, every insurance defense lawyer. And I really want everyone to understand, let's not be distracted.
Amen. Right. Don't be distracted.
Let's not give oxygen. Let's not give air to haters and distractors and dissuaders. So thank you for your question.
Be careful saying that they killed Nolan. They're gonna sue you. They're suing everybody. Please sue me, because maybe then and only then you'll actually get to see the courtroom. Because in my head, I already know how you did it. I already know exactly how you ended Nolan's life, and I know exactly what you did to cover it up, because nothing in this case, and I mean nothing, even to a mute, deaf, stupid person, makes sense. The fact that you just leave your friend, the fact that you just leave the island, all of a sudden social media just disappears of 3 18 19-year-old boys with this. You eat, breathe, and live social media, because that is where the holes are for you. So you didn't just disappear it. Your mommy and daddy told you. get everything turned off, take off social media, delete everything so nobody can reach you, so nobody can suspect. And then Officer Tatum fed you some bullshit witchcraft. Oh, you were friends? Like, shut the fuck up, Officer Tatum. You did them no favors. You actually make them look more guilty than they looked before, if that's even a possible thing. But I'm positive Bart did it. I'm pretty positive, allegedly, my opinion, Bart did it. Bart was jealous that that white girl liked Nolan, and then he was like, nah, babe, not gonna have my girlfriend. Bout. That's how he did it.
We, the black community, will not stop until we get answers about the death of Nolan Wells. And whether you're a detractor, a white supremacist, or someone who just hates black people and you're adding to the noise about this case, I'd implore you to think about Nolan Wells' family. Think about a mother who tragically lost her child under the strangest circumstances and how you'd feel if you had no answers and no one who knows what actually happened working with you to get these answers. We have to just admit, nothing about this case makes any sense. The description has and it continues to be that Nolan Wells went out with his white friends on the 4th to Horn Island and he never returned. But we have to stop calling these guys his friends, because if they were Nolan's friends, they would have been at the police station, would have been at the funeral. They would be calling his mother non-stop to get to the bottom of what happened. That's what they did instead. They kept Nolan's phone and deleted evidence, pictures, and social media posts. They had Nolan's keys and acted like they didn't. They all privated or deleted their social media. One of the boys' moms, a judge, released a preliminary statement as if she was the mother who lost their child. The coroner's office didn't send the full body to Washington for the independent autopsy. The lungs and the necks were missing. 2 of the body parts, which would determine if he drowned or had any blunt force trauma. And if this wasn't enough, over the last week, more bizarre things have occurred. These same boys that are cosplaying as Nolan Wells' friends set up a fundraiser to stand with the friends of Nolan who are being attacked online as if they are the victims in anything. Nolan's friends have been speaking to TMZ and being platformed by podcasters like Officer Tatum, who is a black man and who uses his voice to disparage the black community for the right. Once again, if you're his friends and you're the only people who were out on Horn Island with Nolan, why are you talking to people whose only goal would be to paint Nolan as the bad black guy and you as the good white friends? Why would you be speaking to TMZ, a Republican-funded gossip outlet, instead of the police?
Have the friends taken polygraphs?
Well, from my understanding, all but I believe one took a polygraph, and from what was told to me, that they all passed. And all of the ones that took a polygraph took one without a lawyer. My understanding, everybody took a polygraph test. Why do you say that's from what you understand?
Did they tell you they took a poly and passed?
Yes, ma'am. They told me that they did it. I wasn't there. So according to what they told me, they all took a lie detector test and passed. And it's an equivalent of a lie detector test. It's not a traditional lie detector test, but it's the same theology. I don't believe it was a polygraph test. I believe they took other stressors in order to analyze if people were telling the truth or not.
Did they take a polygraph would be no.
There was subsequent audio that was from the boat tow company that was released. That was and has been the biggest piece of potential evidence in this case, where one of the boys called for a sea tow, and in the background there were voices asking if Nolan is dead, saying things like, "You can wait, wake up, we have to hide this." And since we knew that white folk and those who will do anything to protect white people would deny this, black woman who was an audio engineer named Janetta Brantley cleared up the audio so we could hear it clearly. As black people, we are acutely aware of the tactics that this country will utilize to paint black people as the bad guys, to cause doubt, and to infantilize the white perpetrators or suspects while adultifying the black victim. Investigators are continuously announcing to the public that Nolan Wells was drinking on Horn Island, as if that's some type of mitigating factor in his death. Everyone was drinking on Horn Island, and it was the parents that provided them the alcohol because all of these young men were under the legal drinking age. Why is it important that the public hears that Nolan, the black boy, was drinking and not the white ones? It's to try to elicit a response from the white community to insinuate somehow Nolan is responsible for his own death due to being intoxicated. It's all a ruse and a sick game to deflect attention from the only suspects, which are the white guys Nolan was with that day on Horn Island. The most insane thing is the fact that Bart, one of Nolan's supposed friends, had an alibi that put him somewhere else that day. But based on the CETO call, it appears that he was there. Well, like all the other people in this case, he has retained a lawyer to sue anyone online who is making content about him in regards to the case and anything else that he deems defamatory. Your friend has been murdered. You're quite literally one of the suspects, and you're suing us for trying to get to the bottom of it, which also means determining if any of you had any violent past or present. We all have to continue to amplify this case, and everyone needs to be investigated. The parents, the white young men who cosplayed Nolan's friends, the coroner, the investigators in Mississippi, the sheriff, the detectives, Officer Tatum, TMZ, the CTO, the doc, the fucking boat, everybody. We have to ensure that the truth comes out and that Nolan Wells' mother and family can find some justice for him, and we have to keep amplifying this story until we find that truth.
Aw, Bart Edmondson. Typical white boy who thinks his mommy and daddy can make all of his problems go away. And since he's white, he thinks Mississippi can make all of his problems go away. So he got a lawyer. And he's suing everyone who mentions him. See, one thing about them crackers, they always gonna crumble under pressure. Under pressure! Under pressure! Under pressure! Under pressure.
Hey, Boo Bears. Let me say this. My husband and I are going to continue to advocate. I know so many people are like, oh my God, you need to stay off social media. You need to give it a break. Well, just know I'm not on social media all day. I'm not. I've been heavy in my Kindle. And then, of course, too, I have other children that I take care of. But occasionally I do pop on. Most of the time I just post, come off. But trust and believe that I'm doing the things I need to do to take care of my mental. And sometimes posting does feel nice because I get to check in with my different Boo Bears and see how everyone is doing. But if you have an issue with me advocating and asking questions, I don't think I'm the problem, babe. I think you're the problem. I think you need to take a step back and ask yourself, why are you so triggered? Or what is causing you to be so upset that I am asking for answers? That is it. That is all. Never ask for special treatment, none of that. But there are just a lot of people who's bothered. But what I will tell you is that there are a lot more people who, despite the nasty negative narratives that are trying to be thrown out there, there's a lot of other people supporting me and my husband Elmore. And we just appreciate that. You know, just as parents, losing a child, I'm telling you y'all, it hits different. My mom passed away. It's going to be 8 years. And this hurt, I've said this in another video, this hurt is different. This is like a soul-wrenching hurt. Like you feel like your heart is just being ripped out. I don't even know if that's even a good way to describe this hurt, but yeah. But I just want to say thank you guys. I'm telling y'all, thank you so much. Thank you to all the content creators who are using their podcasts, their platforms, all those things to make sure that Nolan's story is going. I appreciate y'all. And I know I say thank you all the time, but even when I'm broken, I still need to give thanks, whether it's thanking the Lord for another day, thanking him for the time we had with Nolan, or just simply saying thank you to you guys for just loving on me and my family in your prayers. And I appreciate it. I'm sorry I can't get back to everybody because it is overwhelming, but just know I appreciate you and I love you. And I'm going to go clean up and get my life together. Have a great Sunday, guys.
Whether you like Sharpton or you have to hold your nose, you don't like him, don't care. But guess what? Every TV was turned on this case because of Crump and Sharpton. You know how many cases I've investigated and nobody cares? I'm a crime victim. I am a victim of violent crime. My fiance was murdered shortly before our wedding. It changed my life and my family's life forever. It even affects me now, how I raise my children every day. I can't lay fault at the family's feet. He went to Horn Island with them. They came back alive. He's dead. I'm going to investigate. But it will be a cold day in HELL that I endorse closing down an investigation because somebody said I had nothing to do with that. What? Am I supposed to go, oh, okay, case closed, forget about it, and go tell the mom, we're shutting down the investigation because so-and-so said he had nothing to do with it. The lungs and the throat were missing.
I did my research. In the last 10 years, you know how many people have died on Horn Island? 0. 0. You know why? Because it's shallow. This goes against what the Cajun Navy guy said, where, oh, there's people that wash up here all the time. And Nancy said, well, don't you think that there would be warning signs? He's like, no, because there's nobody that dies on there. When you go to research it, it shows kids snorkeling. Snorkeling in the water on Horn Island. That's how shallow it is. And how calm the water is. I will post it. Where it shows, go to your Google search, go to your searches. It'll tell you in the last 10 to 20 years, zero people have died on Horn Island from drowning. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that Nolan Wells drowned on that island while kids are snorkeling. Because the water has to be pretty fucking calm for you to snorkel. Okay? I know because I live on the ocean. I live by the beach. We live by Bathtub Beach where kids go out and snorkel all the time because the water's real smooth and it's real calm. So you're trying to convince all of us that this kid drowned in 2 feet of water that's calm that you could snorkel in. And there's been no known cases in the last 10 years of anybody drowning on that island, drowning in that ocean. No known cases. Even though the Cajun Island guy said, oh yeah, it's like a wash tub. Bullshit. Bullshit. Maybe it's like a wash tub if you swim 100 feet out in there, but nobody in their right fucking mind would do that. Come the fuck on. So I don't care, guys. Don't bait me, okay? I know this. That kid did not drown.
I'm going to be outside the courthouse.
One of Nolan Wall's homie, Bart, is absolutely panicking, bro. Bart, after the audio got released, now the audio is what people believe implicates him in this Nolan Wall's murder. Folks believe this. And because of this, we've seen the result of that audio dropping where his name is mentioned. He has given the police 20 witnesses that they ain't know before. So why would you hold it on this information? But he gave them 20 witnesses. And they are also sending lawsuits and cease and desist out to anybody that mentions him in this Nolan Wall situation, which I don't think they can do that. You can't sue people for speculating about something. Again, you can sue them for saying you did something, but not speculation, right? So Bart is the name that was mentioned during the boat audio. So y'all remember when the boat audio was playing, it was like, yo, he's dead. Oh my God, Nolan. Oh my God, Nolan, no, Nolan, no. In that audio, after you hear damn it, Bart. Now, because that name was mentioned during the audio, damn it, Bart, folks like, oh, okay, why were they saying damn it, Bart? What was Bart doing to make him say damn it, Bart? What happened? And then during the interviews that Warren did and Tristan did, they both mentioned Bart. So now Bart is this new character who believes he's being talked about unfairly. And because of this, Bart is now telling TMZ, the police told TMZ, that Bart has given up 20 witnesses. And then we'll get to the lawsuits that Bart intend on filing. And we'll talk about who exactly he intend on suing. So this is what TMZ said about Bart and the 20 witnesses earlier today.
Bart people have been theorizing online and even just flat out accusing him, saying that he was jealous of Nolan because of the girl that Nolan was with on the 4th of July, Katie McCormack, and they felt like Bart had a relationship with her. So Bart's hired an attorney, and the attorney already came out and said, that's not true. He didn't have a relationship with Katie. The photo you think is Katie is not Katie. Done all that. But they're in particular now, they're going after one OnlyFans model / influencer who has voiced her theory about Bart being involved. Her name is Kimberly, and she is the recipient of a cease and desist letter from Bart's attorney. I don't know if Kimberly is all that scared of this lawsuit based on after she got that cease and desist.
We'll get to Kimberly, right? We'll get to Kimberly, all right? Kimberly do not give a damn. Now, Kimberly, in terms of the short form, she's probably been like the leading short form creator in terms of this Nolan Wells situation. Kimberly drops like 5 to 10 videos a day on Nolan Wells. She gives 5 to 10 updates on Nolan Wells. Her work ethic is crazy.
Let's be real for a second. These young men and their families have spent the last few weeks acting like the victims in this story. They're out here talking about harassment, talking about threats, talking about how their lives have been destroyed by lies. But let's flip the script. Whose life was actually destroyed? Nolan Wells is gone. His mother has to live the rest of her days without her son. His father has to carry that weight every single day. And instead of giving that family the full, transparent truth, some of these people decided the best move was to threaten lawsuits against anyone who keeps asking questions. That's not grief. That's not innocence. That's pressure. That's an attempt to put a muzzle on the conversation. But here's what they don't understand. The moment you file that lawsuit, the power shifts completely. Because now those same people who have been quiet, the ones who haven't answered the hard questions in public, they have to sit in a room with lawyers and tell the truth under oath. What time did you last see Nolan? Why did the boat leave without him? What exactly was said on that island? Where are the phones? Where are the original photos and videos from that day? Why are there so many different versions of the story floating around? You can't dodge those questions in a deposition. You can't hit ignore. You can't delete the message. And the people who have been screaming for answers, they're ready for that moment. Ben Crump has already made it clear. They welcome the lawsuits. Influencers are saying, sue me. The community is saying, we're not scared. Because deep down, everybody knows the truth doesn't fear the light. Only the people who are hiding something fear the light. And let's talk about the energy. All of a sudden it's stop spreading lies and you're destroying these young men's lives. But where was that same energy when a black mother's child didn't come home? Where was that same energy when the independent autopsy couldn't even determine the cause of death? Where was that same energy when the family had to fight just to get basic information? This is what happens when people think they can control the narrative through intimidation. They thought the mother was going to fold. They thought the community was going to get tired and move on. They thought Ben Crump and Al Sharpton were just going to make some noise and disappear. Wrong. The pressure is only getting higher. Every threat they put out there is being met with the same response. We're still here. We're still watching. We're still demanding answers. And if you think a lawsuit is going to make that stop, you just made it worse for yourselves. Because now, the whole world is going to get a front row seat to the depositions, the phones, the social media, the timelines, the contradictions. You wanted silence. What you're about to get is discovery. And discovery doesn't care about your feelings. Discovery doesn't care about your fundraising pages. Discovery only cares about the facts. So keep talking about suing, keep threatening, keep acting like the real victims here. All you're doing is making sure that when this thing finally hits a courtroom, the entire story is going to come out under oath. And that, my people, is why those lawsuit threats just became their worst nightmare. They thought they were protecting themselves. What they actually did was hand the family the exact tool they needed to force the truth into the open. The black community is not backing down. Mama Nolan is not backing down. The legal team is not backing down. We will not be silenced. We will not be distracted. And we will not stop until every single question about what happened to Nolan Wells on that island is answered. That's the energy. That's the stance. And it's not changing. So here's where we land. If those lawsuits ever get filed, good. Let them. Because the moment those papers drop, the real work begins. And the people who thought they could bully this family into silence are going to find out the hard way that the truth doesn't scare easy. Make sure you like this video, share it everywhere, drop a comment and tell me what you think about these lawsuit threats. And most importantly, keep Nolan's name alive, keep asking the questions, keep the pressure on. We are not done, not even close. I'll be back with more as this continues to unfold. Until then, stay locked in, stay loud, and never let them silence the demand for justice. Peace.